Okay, so today I'm showing you the Elden Ring speedrun build, which essentially allows you to play the game on easy mode. First of all, a warning though, this only works on version 102, which is the speedrun version. We use this for speedruns like all remembrances and all bosses. I will go over how you can downpatch your game if you want to try this yourself later, but let's focus on the setup first. This build functions by combining the Royal Knight's Resolve Ash of War, which was bugged in this version, and the Sword of Night and Flame, which back then wasn't nerfed yet. I will explain you how to use this build and also show you a full run through of getting all the pieces you need to make it. And with that out of the way, let's get right to it. To downpatch your game to version 102, you can download the old version to your PC in a different folder and have both version 102 and the most recent version of the game at the same time. Please just be careful with your save file, since you can't use your current version save file in the old version. Basically, just make sure to back up your save before you try this. I have linked a full tutorial for downpatching Elden Ring in the description that you can watch after you've seen the build and decided if you want to give it a go yourself. Now, I will show you how to obtain and play this build. Even without speedrunning skills, you can get this build together in less than 1 hour. So, on version 102, I start a new playthrough with the Samurai class and pick the Golden Seed as a starting gift to upgrade my flask later. Then I just run through the tutorial section and jump down this ledge intentionally to skip the grafted Scion. After that I run out of the stranded graveyard and pick up the first step Grace, because we will return here later, and then run all the way to the gatefront side of Grace to meet with Melina. Next, I equip Torrent and ride up towards Stormvale Castle, but don't enter it, and instead ride towards this broken bridge. Here I can go for a pretty precise jump to get to Liurnia. If you do this, just make sure to jump late and delay your double jump as much as possible. Now I ride around the castle, carefully maneuver down these steps and make my way to the Purified Ruins, where I can find a teleporter that teleports me to the academy. We don't have the key yet, so I just grab the Grace, jump down the bridge and ride to pick up the key behind the dragon, which I can simply ignore. Now with the key I can enter the Academy of Rhea Lucaria. I need to run through this whole section now while only having 12 vigor. My best tip for that is quitting out of the game when you open this first door. This will de-aggro the sorceress and give you more time to run away. After running through the graveyard, I jump through this building and then onto the lift. Once at the top, I grab this Grace in case I want to fight Renala later, and then take this path to the lift all the way down again. Here, I find an abductor virgin that I need to get eaten by. To make this happen, I wait for it to charge in, then roll back, and then get grabbed intentionally. Some people still don't know this, but getting eaten by this specific abductor teleports you to the Volcano Manor. Here, I parkour over the lava and then pick up Somber Smithing Stone 6 on the rooftop and take the lift up to pick up Somber 5. Now the first reason we pick the Samurai comes into play. I run into the Godskin Noble arena, and once it spawns, I quit out of the game. The Fog Gate is active now, which I can use to line up my character with it and then do a backstep and then a punch to get into position. If you do this right, your character will be kinda stuck in the Fog Gate, and all I have to do now is wait around 5 seconds and then run into the arena. The Godskin Noble is now inactive, and I can just kill it with the Uchigatana, which every couple seconds will proc blood loss for around 1000 damage. When the Noble is dead, we have 50,000 runes for essentially free, and can now rest at the Grace, at which Melina will take us to the Round Table Hold. I level up at the table. Our goal for the Sword of Night and Flame is to eventually reach 24 in both Intelligence and Faith, and right now I have enough for 24 Faith and 12 Intelligence. I then teleport back to Volcano Manor and activate the bridge. With that, I can jump up this... I can jump up this ledge. This jump is pretty hard and may take you a couple attempts. Make sure to jump later than you think. Once up, I can pick up the Somber 7 next to the abductor and continue into the Volcano Manor itself. A small tip here when running away from enemies. You can crouch for a second while running to refill your stamina a little bit, which can be super useful. At the end of this corridor, we find the Royal Knight's Resolve Ash of War, and as soon as I pick it up, I quit out of the game to de-aggro the enemies and warp back to the first step Grace. From here, I ride back behind the stranded graveyard building and jump into the Spirit Spring, which will allow me to prevent fall damage and pick up a golden foul foot here for later. Then I just warp back up again. Now, I ride towards the Dragonburn ruins to take the teleporter chest towards Caelid. And just be careful with these rats, since they can actually kill you mid-teleport. I just quit out of the game to avoid them. Once in Caelid, I leave the Celia Crystal Tunnel and ride towards Celia, where you can either just light the torch to dispel the barrier, or do this cool torrent parkour to skip not just that, but also the rolling boulders. I then rest at the Church of the Plague to escape the teleporter trap and pick up a sacred tear. This next part is pretty popular, but I explain it anyway. By constantly hitting the giant dragon Greyoll with the Uchigatana, we can slowly but safely kill her with the big blood loss damage procs. Just eat the golden foul foot just before you kill her and you get almost 100,000 runes here. When she is dead, I ride towards the Divine Tower of Caelid to pick up Somber Smithing Stone 8 and 9. 8 is obtained from this beetle that you can simply push down the ledge, and 9 is just down these branches in the circle of chairs. Lastly, I teleport back to the South Academy gate where I can level up to reach exactly 24 intelligence. Jump down the bridge again and ride eastwards to reach another teleporter. This one brings me up to EG, where for now I will simply grab the Side of Grace and then continue towards Carrier Manor where we will find our weapon. Just stay at the right side to dodge the magic projectiles, mostly, and then enter the manor. I just run under the archway and then ride, staying careful to not get grabbed by any spider hands, and then head up the stairs to grab the Grace. From here I can reach the roof to enter the building that contains the Sword of Night and Flame, and after grabbing it, I teleport back to the previous Grace. We still need a couple more runes to buy the upgrade materials from EG and strengthen our weapon to +9. So I run through the manor, up the elevator and make my way to fight Loretta. If we want to fully maximize the build, we need to return here later anyway, so this is worth it. Now for another little trick. By activating the Loretta fight and then jumping into this corner to quit out of the game, you spawn back in the arena when you go back in. Loretta is now inactive and an easy kill. Now, with more runes, we can teleport back to EG, buy Somber Smithing Stone 1 to 4 and upgrade our Sword of Night and Flame up to +6. This is a good time to test our weapon and actually learn how to use the Royal Knight's Resolve glitch. But first, we have to teleport to Yuk to apply the Royal Knight's Resolve to specifically the Godskin Stitcher that we got from killing the Godskin Noble. This will make sense when I'm about to explain how the glitch actually works. By the way, we can't apply this ourselves since we never picked up a wet blade. Once applied, we can teleport back to the first step Grace again to test our setup against the Tree Sentinel. So let's get to how this build works. On version 102, Royal Knight's Resolve is bugged. It's supposed to buff your next melee attack by 80%, but on this version it also buffs all your other damage by 80% the entire time it's active for 8 seconds. Additionally, if you cast Royal Knight's Resolve on a weapon that you can't efficiently wield, the buff will go off, but it won't cost any FP. So by two-handing the Godskin Stitcher and casting Royal Knight's Resolve, the buff activates without any FP cost. By then dual-wielding the Sword of Night and Flame, which has to be in the right hand so we can use the skill, and the Stitcher in the left hand with the buff still active, we can fire up to 3 lasers that are 80% buffed. As you can see, the results against the Sentinel are pretty impressive. To cast these lasers, you need to press L2 and then R1, by the way. Pressing R2 after getting into stance fires a white flame arc, which is especially good against enemies that tend to dodge you. The Tree Sentinel actually drops a perfect amount of runes for us to warp back to EG, kill this random dude for 50 runes, and then upgrade the sword to +9. We have 1 talisman slot right now, and unfortunately, our best option for an early talisman is going to be the Warrior's Shard, which we can actually get very quickly. It's just really sad.
I see it now. How could this?
Now, we officially unlocked Easy Mode. Using this build together with the Royal Knight's Resolve glitch, Let's check out our damage, shall we? Yep, I hope I didn't promise too much. Renala is actually super strong versus magic, but it doesn't even matter. Now we simply have fun and basically one-shot everything for a while, but as we get into the late game, I suggest optimizing this build even more. First of all, I pick up the Flask of Wondrous Physic in the 3rd Church of Marika in Limgrave and kill the Erdtree avatar in Liurnia to obtain the Magic Shrouded tier, and then the avatar at the entrance to Caelid to get the Flame Shrouded tier. I just mix both of them into a Physic and get a 3-minute 20% buff to both the laser and the flame attack. Let's briefly talk about stats here. After reaching 24 intelligence and faith, you want to focus on 40 to 50 vigor depending on your confidence and reach 21 mind, which will allow you to cast 5 lasers with 1 FP bar. Then you just want to max out intelligence until 50 to increase laser damage, and then lastly faith to increase fire damage. Just make sure not to level up any decks, since we don't want to be able to wield the Godskin Stitcher, which would make the Royal Knight's Resolve buff consume FP. Once I have all of the talisman pouches, our ideal setup will be the Warrior Shard, or if you want to wait until the late game and the end of Alexander's storyline, his Shard, which is 5% stronger. The Magic Scorpion Charm that you can get by playing through Celibus questline, which you can reach through the Loretta arena we unlocked earlier. This will buff the laser attack by 12%. The Fire Scorpion Charm that you can find at Mount Gelmir, which will buff the fire attack by 12%. And lastly, the Ritual Sword Talisman, which you can get by killing the Demi-Human boss in Lux Ruins at Altus Plateau, which buffs all damage by 10% when full HP. Now, when you feel ready, you can laser down the Fire Giant, very easy to burn the Erdtree with Melina and reach Farum Azula. This will trigger Rogier to die in the Round Table Hold, and after talking to him and quitting the game 3 times, he will drop his clothing. Each piece buffs the laser's damage by 2%, so you can get up to another 8% buff on top. Rogier also drops his weapon, which I like using instead of the Godskin Stitcher, since with my stats I also can't efficiently wield it and it just looks cooler. Additionally, pick up any Ancient Dragon Somber Smithing Stone to upgrade the Sword of Night and Flame to +10. With this setup, even the absolute late game and even New Game Plus playthroughs will still be on absolute easy mode. Just see for yourself. So, if you like this build, but you actually don't want to downpatch your game, I have a proposal for you. I stream Elden Ring speedruns with this build on Twitch over at twitch.tv/lincube, so if you want to get the satisfaction of seeing boss one-shots anyway, make sure to tune in. I'm currently learning the all bosses speedrun over there. I will, however, also make a full commentary video on that speedrun, which will be up here on YouTube soon, so if you want to catch that, subscribe if you haven't yet. Anyways, I hope you liked the video and the explanation of the build. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.